Hello, friends! Lately, I've been adding a little touch of variety into my Hall of Fame baseball card collection,
A little change never hurt, huh? A little variety.
and I'd love to share it with you, so stick around and let's check it out.
I'm not going anywhere.
Hello, friends. I am John, and I am the 3D 80s kid. Before we get to the main topic, I thought I would try something new that I am going to call Video Rewind, in which I look at 3 comments from the last video that I'd like to just explore in a little bit greater depth and talk about those with you. So let's get rolling with that. My first comment is from Todd Smilovitz, who said, "The old Koufax has much better top-bottom centering and not a diamond cut. The 78 Jackson has better centering, as you say, but this whole centering, I think, is getting way overblown. I'd much rather have a card that has original gloss and sharp corners and great focus, but without great centering, than one that has much less of those things and better centering. As long as it isn't miscut, it's in consideration for me, though centering is still one of many factors. Just not this stuff that's again developing where centering is the be-all and end-all." All right. Thank you, Todd, for a very elaborate and well thought out comment. And let's just take a look at those 2 cards that I had from my last video, in which I admittedly replaced a card I already had with a better, what I viewed as a better centered copy. And now here is my original Koufax, which is clearly got issue left to right. But yes, the top bottom there isn't too bad. And then here is my replacement copy that, yes, top bottom, the top is a bit too thick. And it does have, yes, a slight diamond cut. But I don't know, I think what it does it for me, I think the asymmetry of the picture makes it really, I don't really pick up on the diamond cut when it's there on my wall. And honestly, I don't seem to be bothered visually with top bottom not nearly in the same manner as left right. So, I mean, if it was obviously just completely chopped up when it's like an all white border around every edge, and you're completely missing a border, that would be a little too extreme for me. But, in this case, with it being the white area all around there for the name area, I just don't think it bothers me. So, to each their own. So this card wouldn't be for you, Todd, but I guess it works for me. So
Sure, whatever works for you.
and then as far as the rest of the comment regarding centering being the be-all, end-all, and I definitely do not take it to that extreme. Like, most famously Dylan and most outwardly spoken about it, but I'm sure there are many others in this community that fully will not buy a card unless it is dang near perfectly centered. They just, might not be quite as vocal about it. But for me, it has just entered the realm of a higher consideration factor. That's what I view it as. It's something I will look at, especially when we're talking cheaper cards in post-war vintage. Pre-war, in many of these cases, I am going to take whatever I can get. But when it's, a sub $100 card in post-war, why not pay a little bit extra to get something that makes it more visually appealing for me is where I'm at. So
You're what's called a pretentious absorber.
all right, thanks again, Todd. So up next with our next comment is Chris Oliva 6591. Real estate is about location, location, location. Vintage cards are about centering, centering, centering. I don't look at the grade, nor do I care about the grade unless it is a PSA 1, as I look for centering first when I buy vintage cards. I can deal with corners and subsurface issues, but a centered vintage card are the only ones I buy. So there we go. Here is a guy firmly in the camp with Dylan that centering is the be-all, end-all. So there are people at that end, and there's people at the other end that don't care at all. And now I fall in the middle. I used to be more on the don't care at all tendency of things, but people change, your tastes change, and the more I stared at these cards, it drew me more to the center of this issue, pun intended. You're welcome.
Terrible.
Dad joke alert.
All right, last comment. ACD 1994, which is our good friend Andrew Deutsch, friend of the community, one of those Hall of Fame commenters who is out there commenting on so many of our videos and then attending so many of our live streams. You know, a welcomed voice out there. Happy to have you commenting on my channel. So I wonder if there's a link to collecting when it comes to cards. Be centered in a certain way and OCD. But the important thing is you are doing what suits your collection, which is great. I am totally not jealous. Your office space is right next to your display of cards. Yep, not jealous at all. Anyway, hope you have a great weekend, John, and have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. I did have a great Thanksgiving with my immediate family, and we go and celebrate with friends every year. It started ever since the COVID year, and we couldn't really travel to relatives, and it just has carried on. We have a friend Thanksgiving along with me, my 3 boys and wife, and my father who lives with us. So it was great. But back to the issue here. So as far as, I just want to make one note. A lot of people out there refer to some of their obsessiveness with their cards, and they actually make the OCD statement. I want to be sensitive to folks that really suffer with OCD. Can be a very life debilitating affliction that really affects their everyday life. So, you know, nothing I do goes into the OCD territory. I'm somewhere on the spectrum with my obsessiveness, but it doesn't fall into that severity that it hampers my everyday life. So, yes, all of us in collecting, I think, have some level of obsessiveness. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing things like what is behind me.
I think you're all crazy.
And it does play a mental aspect in all of our decision making, and our tastes end up reflecting that, you know, in our obsessive how we do it. So it all has a part. And yeah, this is my office space. I did work here, in fact, today. For work with, my computer set up right there and my cards here behind me. And I, take breaks and get to spin my chair and stare at my cards. So, yes, it's kind of nice. So, sorry you don't have a similar setup, Andrew, but you can enjoy it vicariously through me. You're welcome. So,
You're an asshole.
all right. Let's move on to our main event.
It's about time.
So at the beginning of the video, I did mention I injected a little bit of variety into my post-war collection, and so let's take a look at that. I know previously I had mentioned that for 1975, the second card I needed, I was pondering a mini, and I did in fact make that purchase then with this Burt Blyleven card, the best dugout bubblegum card ever.
Not many of those around.
Let's check out a little Hall of Fame clip of Burt Blyleven.
Burt Blyleven was armed with outstanding control and a wicked curveball that proved to be one of the toughest to hit in the history of the game. The tall right-hander with that fluid pitching motion came to the majors at age 19 and remained durable over 22 big league seasons with 5 different teams, garnering 287 wins and 60 shutouts. The Dutch master also compiled 3,701 strikeouts, baseball's 3rd highest career total at the time he retired. He was a key cog in 2 playoffs, contributing to fall classic crowns for both the 1979 We Are Family Pirates and the 1987 Twins. Burt Blyleven, member of the Hall of Fame induction class of 2011.
And now a more recent addition. One of the things I did say when I made my 80s, what I'm going to collect for the 80s video, which, I'll put a thumbnail up there, was that I wanted to set a goal of trying to get every card that I was trying to collect for the price of SGC grading or less. And I ran into a case where there was an auction on this card in the grade of a 10 and a 9.5 at the exact same time, ending at the exact same time from one seller who posted them together. And I landed the 9.5 for a whopping $13.50. And it is, in fact, my first Tiffany as part of this run. So there we go. My 87 Wade Boggs is now a Tiffany version. And, there's the shinier back on that one, along with the glossier looking front. in what is now currently the highest graded card of my entire Hall of Famer run of a 9.5.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
Not that it matters, since I can't see any flaws really, above the 8 grade, so.
You're blind.
Let's see what the Hall of Fame had to say about Wade Boggs.
A virtuoso with a bat, Wade Boggs mastered opposing pitching with extraordinary vision and the ability to hit to all fields. Boggs totaled 5 batting titles, stringing together 7 consecutive seasons of 200 or more hits, walking more than 100 times in 4 straight seasons. With his knack for reaching base, Boggs often batted leadoff and scored at least 100 runs 7 straight years. The only member of the 3,000 hit club to hit a home run for the milestone, Boggs retired with a lofty .328 batting average. Wade Boggs was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2005.
And now, a recent pickup of something I wanted to try to do differently. Since I've got a Mini and a Tiffany, was I realized I had a good opportunity for an OPG to get a Canadian version. And the perfect opportunity to me was actually then with 1979, because that set actually has the Topps logo on the card there. My George Brett has the Topps logo, and so now I ended up purchasing this one raw to eventually grade with SGC, as I looked up, and it has been a very long time since a graded SGC card of this card here has ever been sold, and there aren't even that many in existence. So I just went ahead and picked up a nice looking raw copy to get graded of this Rich Gossage here from 1979 with the cool OPG logo inside the baseball there instead of the Topps, of him flying off the mound in this great action shot. And then the back has the French to go along with the English for the Canadian cards. Canada! Canada! And how about some Rich Gossage highlights?
A solidly built, overpowering flamethrower, Rich Goose Gossage intimidated hitters with a ferocious intensity. Gossage, one of the top relievers through the 1970s and 80s, spent a 22-year career with 9 clubs, including the 1978 World Champion New York Yankees and the 1984 National League champion San Diego Padres. Often pitching multiple innings to earn a save, he earned 9 All-Star selections and recorded 20 or more saves during 10 seasons, leading his league 3 times. The second man to record 300 saves, Gossage retired among the top 5 all-time leaders in games pitched, relief innings, and relief strikeouts.
All right. Well, the last card of my variety section was a little bit of a bigger, pricier pickup, but I did take the opportunity to use it on a less expensive player, so it wouldn't be quite as bad. And I still had a hole of filling another card for 1968, and I have now filled it with my first ever Venezuelan card. That's right. I have a Veni of Tony Oliva from 1968 Venezuelan Topps.
South America. It's like America, but South.
And so, yeah, it looks a bit dingier than my Ernie Banks card of the same year, with the lower quality of, the cards from that year, but it is not one of the ones that is scrapbook damaged. As you can see, it's got a completely intact back. Unfortunately, I don't get the really cool thing of like 67 where they have totally different backs, whereas this, the only way you can really tell is the really small print down there saying that it's from Venezuela. But really cool variety now to my collection with this Venezuelan.
He's trying way too hard to be cool.
Let's get some additional info on Tony Oliva.
Tony O was a Rookie of the Year. He actually led the big leagues in batting average in his first 2 seasons. Hit .323 in 64, .321 in 65. He also led the league in batting average in 1971. Ended up hitting .304 for his career. 8-time All-Star, Gold Glove winner, played his entire career with the Minnesota Twins. They retired his number a long time ago. They gave him a statue a long time ago. The Twins have done known this dude's a Hall of Famer for a long time, and it just took forever to finally get in. And luckily, he is still around. So is Jim Cott. So I'm really happy about that they get to know that they're Hall of Famers.
Baby!
So there we go. That's my latest injection of some differences in my collection. So, you know, throw some variety in the mix of not just everything being tops for years and years and years as it happened to be as far as mainstream issues, you know, basically from 1956 on, save 63 Fleer. So everybody, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
Well, see you next time.
Yeah, unless I get lucky and break a leg.
How am I going to collect these cards?